Hello guys, my name is Reese Jones. Thank you Robert for introducing me. Today I'm going to be speaking about an organization. Oh, just this before I start, this organization does not exist. I'm just going to act like I created it just to change things up a little bit. So I founded Resurrected Greens. It's a nonprofit organization in which its mission is to take the greens, vegetables, fruit that typically would have been unused out in the field, that are unpicked, that would, for some reason, whether it be for financial issues or can't find the labor, they will be picked and they will be given to food banks and food kitchens across America. What struck me the most about the crisis we have in America with hunger is that about 21% of the children age 18 and below live in a household that is, in terms of food, they are insecure about whether they're going to get their next meal. That is about 15.3 million children across America. And just in Washington, D.C. alone, 31% of the children 18 below, they live in that same insecurity state. So that just struck me, and I had to think about how in the world could we feed these kids so that they can perform better academically in school without worrying about where their next meal is going to come from, without worrying about where their mom's going to be the next day, whether she's going to be working to get food on the table. Just kind of wanted to get rid of that gap and make things a little more even for these children so they have more opportunities in the future for themselves. And so I just thought about, I keep on reading these articles about all these plants that are just left out in the field without being picked. And it struck me one day, and I found that, hey, what if we were to take all this food? There's a statistic about 7%. There's an agency specifically made by USDA, and it calculates how much food is wasted in America. A portion of that research was put into food that is just left on the plants to decompose. And 7% of the produce that's grown in America is actually unpicked and unused. 7%, I don't know how many tons it is, but compared to the amount that we grow in America, that's a ginormous amount. What if we were to take that amount and give it to the people who need it the most, these children? So this is more hunger and poverty statistics. I like to just talk about a story. So I visited this place up in Washington State. This is where this is from. Bumper crops, and this was about an apple orchard. I think it's like Okawa Farms, and they said they had to leave about 55–60% of their apples on their 300-acre orchard out to rot in the field because they didn't have any labor to pick all that. They said it was going to be the second largest crop they've had in their entire history, and that was about a 20-year history. I thought that was just, I can't even fathom that. I believe it was 10 million pounds of apples, and they were going to leave 2.5 million pounds of the apples. So imagine how many people that could feed. That's just absolutely remarkable. There's also this farm we visited in northern Tennessee, and it was a cucumber farm. And this was an interesting case where they actually picked everything. However, the farmer said that it was about 40% of their cucumbers were unaesthetically appealing to the American public, so they can't sell it on the fresh market. So they ended up just throwing all of those cucumbers away and not being used to anything. Absolute huge waste. This is a picture of us. So next I'd like to talk about our Army. Our Army is full of volunteers. It's also full of paid employees. We provide a multitude of services for farmers, whether they want us to go on the farm with our volunteers or whether they want us to provide them with labor, that they thus would allow us to have a portion of the produce that would have been otherwise unpicked. A huge thing that I thought of was I want to get rid of this liability that these volunteers or the farmers would have with these volunteers, these people, these city folk, these people who have no idea about a farm. Eliminate that liability for the farmer if for some reason one of these people decided to trip and they wanted to sue the farmer. So what I did is I made sure that there's this education liabilities processing where they sign papers to allow that if they wanted to sue the farmer, that suing would bounce directly from the farmer onto our organization. So when these volunteers go onto the farms, they're representing us, and we are credible for what they do. And that, once again, it makes sure that the farmer feels comfortable with us going onto their property to pick these plants that otherwise would go unpicked. And farmer authorization. It's also important to note that when we go onto these farms, we are 100% at the whim of the farmer. We're not going in there unless he's there to watch us and tell us what to do. And these are some of the options that we give him. There's 4 altogether. First one is Green Pure. Well, Green Pure, these are different plans in which we set up. Green Pure is when we allow volunteers, the farmer allows our volunteers to go onto the farm, and we pick anything that would have thus been unpicked. And all of that would go straight to a food kitchen. We typically like to maintain it locally. So if it was in Tennessee, we donate to a Tennessee food kitchen. If we're in Georgia, we donate to some local city in Georgia's food kitchen, food bank, or even ministries. And that allows for the max amount of tax write-offs for the farmer. So it is a benefit for him. Blue line, if the farmer decides that our volunteers is not good enough for him, for example, our educational process is not good, he doesn't trust the fact that the bouncing back of the suing mechanism we designed, we will provide him with the labor. We have an immigration attorney on staff, and he actually knows a lot of loopholes in the system. He's got friends in the Department of Labor. He's got friends in USDA, and allows. Sometimes we drive 2 buses down to the Latin America Mexican border, and we grab a bunch of immigrants, and we take it up to the farm. Whether that be Pennsylvania, we've gone up to New York, Western New York. It's pretty interesting stuff. And again, it's just that one more resource that farmer can have, we can help him with. And that farmer would thus pay those immigrants, and then we would get a portion of the price that they pay, while maintaining that the farmer does get a portion of the amount of money that they get from the picked goods. Yellow bow, this one. Actually, I don't want to skip down to Green Savior. Green Savior is for the Tennessee cucumber farmer, where the undesirables they're not being used. This is where we just go on and we just pick them up. It's really a simple process. We pick up these, like the cucumbers, for example, and we would take them to a food bank. That is a very good process for also apple orchards too, because we are very selective when it comes to apples. You might not know that, but we are. And yellow bow. This one's a little more complicated. Yellow bow is where we actually pay the farmer to go on to the farm. If, let's say, they really don't trust us and they don't believe that we're going to give them any tax write-offs from going in and picking these produce. And we pay the farmer. We send in our own volunteers to go in and pick everything. And in turn, I'm not sure if you know this, but a lot of food kitchens, they actually have a large amount of money that's donated to them, and they would buy the produce from us, and we give to them, because we have to maintain our nonprofit status. So we try to make our accounting completely fall zero. So those are the options that a farmer has when it comes to choosing our organization. Also, the services that we can provide for the farmer. This is the immigration attorney, so if he needs any help with finding immigrants, receiving some more employees into his program, we can provide him that assistance. We have accountants on staff, so that allows us to go in and decide how many workers we actually need, or if he needs any assistance in choosing what to plant for the next year, we can provide that for him. Transportation services. The other thing we came up with was a lot of food kitchens, they like to communicate with each other, and especially if one food kitchen, let's say in Boston, has a surplus of, let's say, potatoes or bread, we would take all that bread, the excess, and we would take it somewhere else for them free of charge. That's just one more service we provide. And sponsor discounts. We're working on sponsor discounts, so like Tractor Supply, we try to get food organizations like Kroger's in so they can maximize the benefits for the farmer themselves, so that they're not just joining for benefits of on the farm, but also in their home communities. We can help them in a way. And so the next step is you guys need to dig deep and find a way in which you can help lower this huge problem of food insecurity in America. I found a way by creating this organization that allows all that food that's produced, fertilized, and taken care of by American farmers, and take that and help people just like us. So thank you guys for having me up here. Appreciate it. Hope you guys learned more about this.
A question about this. You didn't have anything about like numbers or anything. Is it actually cost efficient for a farmer to work more efficient towards getting everything done? Like, is it more cost efficient for a farmer to actually go back and actually pick?
No, I didn't go over 3 reasons why they wouldn't pick. So, like, let's say they plant like 100 acres of something like cabbage or something like that. And the reason why they plant so much is just in case there's like a huge weather crisis, like a hurricane comes in or something, rain, pests come in, and it wipes out like 50% of the crop. Then they actually harvest the other 50% because it's fine. But if then none of those natural disasters happen, they have all that green out there, and they don't have enough hands to pick it. That would be irrational to pick that many. And so it's not cost effective for them to pick that many. And that's when we would come in and pick that food and donate to food kitchens.
Does that also allow them to write that off on the taxes and things like that?
Oh, absolutely.
So
That's the other benefit.
How do you sustain the business or whatnot financially? Like, obviously it's not profit, but you have to like have some sort of income.
Yeah, we do have an income. We do have sustained contributions from donations across America. I mean, really, we have to pay for the transportation, of course. There is money going into it. However, we try to make the balance become zero in the end by donations to other organizations that we have.
What if you allowed like particular groups to maybe start their own farmers markets in those areas?
You mean like with the farmers' help?
And sell those actual items, you know, and educating those people. When they see the items, they're not as presentable. Mm-hmm. So maybe the farmers can be there, or some representative can be there to discuss why it's not an issue.
To help them?
Yeah, because some people just have a different perception of what food should look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we developed this demand for the perfect vegetable or the perfect fruit, when really the ugly ones are the best ones, almost.
It's true.
So
I
you're
feel
telling
like
me when
at
you
that
go
point
to
you're
Kroger, you
straight.
buy the ugly vegetables?
You gotta believe it.
Thank you guys. Good luck.